Welcome everyone to the presentation on the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. It's really important for you as nurses to understand these goals for a couple of reasons. One is you will be using these goals as your foundation for both the projects that you'll be working on, but also it's really important when you're thinking about global health. These goals are really provide the reason for global health and the foundation for global health and what we're working towards to ensure health for all. So introducing the Sustainable Development Goals. So what are they? They're a set of 17 goals for the future of the entire world. And the endpoint or the target is 2030, that we try and meet these 17 Sustainable Development Goals. They're backed up by 169 detailed targets. And they were negotiated over a 2-week period at the United Nations from really a bottom-up approach. All countries were involved to identify what were some of their strong sustainable development needs. And so that's where the 17 goals came out of, this bottom-up approach. And they're agreed to by nearly all of the world's nations. So we originally had the Millennium Development Goals, and then in 2015, we switched over to the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And so what's important for these goals is that it really stopped the focus just looking at low-income countries. These goals apply to every nation and not just low middle income countries and every sector. So it's not just all about health. So it looks at cities, businesses, schools, organizations. All these sectors are challenged to act and meet these goals. And that's why a big part of these goals are universality. We're all working towards them. The second thing is that these goals are all interconnected. And as I go through the 17 goals, you're going to see this interconnectedness and that you can't achieve just one of the goals without working on the other goals as well. So that's the important piece about integration. And lastly, it's widely recognized that if we can try as best as we can to achieve these goals, we will make a very huge change in how we live on Earth. And this is called transformation. So these are the kind of the 3 pillars, if you want to say. So let's take a tour of these goals. Goal number 1 is to end poverty in all its forms everywhere. And remember that we have individuals who are suffering poverty all over the world. There's differences in socioeconomic status within nations, amongst nations, within our areas of Toronto. There's different areas of different socioeconomic status. So end poverty in all its forms. Number 2 is to end hunger and achieve food security and improve nutrition, and to promote sustainable agriculture. So you can see this one right here that many times nurses have been looked at food security for our populations that we see. And when we look at promoting sustainable agriculture, again, we think of climate change. So you can see how this goal is actually can be linked to climate change. Ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. Typically, we think as nurses that this is the only one that we should focus on, but what I'm asking you to engage in is all the goals. It's not just about health, and that you need to have no poverty, or you need to help individuals move out of poverty to have good health. We need to make sure that we end food hunger and there's food sustainability to have good health. So you can see how they're interconnected. Number 4 is to ensure inclusive and quality education for all and to promote lifelong learning. Number 5 is to achieve gender equality and empower women and girls. Number 6 is to ensure access to water and sanitation for all. And we struggle with this in our Indigenous communities that don't have access to good, clean water. Ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. And thinking about clean energy and how that can impact the environment and in turn impact climate change. Promote inclusive and sustainable economic growth, employment, and decent work for all. So this is looking at those areas of the work environment to ensure that people are have safe work environments, and actually that they are inclusive, but also making sure that you are getting value for what the work that you're providing, that you are being paid properly. Build resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. Number 10 is to reduce inequality within and among countries. Number 11 is to make cities inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Number 12 is to ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. So this, again, is looking at urbanization, industrialization, and the impact that that has for our environment. Take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. Number 14 is conserve and sustain the use of oceans, sea, and marine resources. So now we're getting into planetary health. Sustainably manage forests, compact desertification, halt and reverse land degradation, and halt biodiversity loss. So again, the importance of planetary health, and that we need to have a healthy planet in order for us to be healthy as individuals. Number 16 is to promote just, peaceful, and inclusive societies. And 17 is to revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development. So let's all work together to ensure that we have health equity for all work together to sustain our planet, and basically let's all work together. And so each goal is really important in itself. But what I hope you understand is that they are all interconnected. And so when you're working on one, oftentimes you're working on 2 or 3 other goals as well. To meet that individual goal, you need to look at other pieces of other goals as well. And so we're going to talk more about the importance of nurses understanding the Sustainable Development Goals and being agents of change.